How different would your life be if you had 1,200 Rand coming into your account on a monthly basis, a passive income stream? Well, look no further. Today, we're interviewing a successful student by the name of Natasha, who just closed her first single let property, generating exactly that 1,200 in passive income.
I educate people to reach financial freedom through property through cash flow positive investments, specializing in the low income multi-let residential market.
So, welcome, Natasha Caitlin Lognath, to your first ever case study, of which I think will be many case studies. Thank you for joining me. Thank you for sharing your knowledge and your experience with us. And for those people who are hopeful to get into the property game. So, do you want to just start by a quick introduction, who you are, what do you do, and why do you like to invest in property?
I am a microbiologist by profession. I'm 26 years old and very new to the property space. My interest in property started at a very young age, and my interest actually started after I read the book by Lawrence, Financial Freedom Through Property. And after I read that book, it sparked my interest in the property space, and I was able to then reach out, join his coaching program, and thereafter I was able to purchase my first property at a very young age. So I'm very grateful for that opportunity. I'm based in Durban, and I am a budding property investor. My goals are to earn passive income, to become financially free. I learned from Lawrence's book was to start off with financial security, thereafter go through financial independence, and last but not least, financial freedom, which is my ultimate goal. I also want to live life on my own terms and to build generational wealth for future generations to come.
Awesome, Natasha. I think you're going to inspire a lot of upcoming investors. Let's get to know a little bit more about you. So my first question is, why do you like property as an asset class?
So from the age of 21, I've actually been interested in property. I want to be able to help people by transforming properties into places that they can call home. Property is also an appreciating asset, and I'm very excited to unpack the power of leverage.
That's really cool. And leverage is the best way to grow and scale your business. So what strategy did you decide to start with, and why that strategy?
Is buy to let. I'm very new to the property space. I started with a single let, and I'm excited to scale up as I grow and develop. In the future, I would like to touch into multi-let properties and to scale up my property portfolio.
It's really good to start small, but look at doing bigger things. So I appreciate you starting with single lets and moving to multi-lets. So seeing that single lets is your strategy, which area did you choose and why that area?
So I chose Durban as my area that I want to invest in at the moment. The reason for choosing Durban as my area for investing is because I currently stay in Durban, and because it was my first property that I was going to purchase, I wanted to be able to go and view the property, to go and look at some of the challenges, the issues that I'll be facing, especially since it was going to be my first time. However, I would like to explore other areas such as Johannesburg, as the market allows for good flat cash flow positive deals in comparison to the Durban's property market.
It's a good idea to start somewhere local so that you can go and view your first property, but it's also important to open yourself up to other markets like Johannesburg if the numbers make sense. So my next question is, why did you decide to join my coaching program?
And I was unaware of how to even begin the journey, the process of buying my first property. And I needed that first step or that kickstart to start my career. So I then I touched base with Lawrence and I joined his program, and I was able to make that first move. I was very fearful to even go out there to even view a property. I didn't have a network. I didn't understand a lot of the concepts in property, and I knew that I needed to build my knowledge. I knew I needed to have someone to guide me along the way through this process. After joining the program, I was then able to look at deals and to analyze deals that are cash flow positive from day one, and that is something that I'm very grateful for.
Well, it's been a pleasure having you on my program, and it's so nice to see you take action and change your life. And you've seen the results because of the hard work you've put in. So we've got a sense of where you were. Where are you now?
I'm very new to the property space and I'm still learning and I'm still growing my experience and knowledge in the property industry. So that's where I am at the moment, and I'm looking forward to future prospects and future opportunities.
Great, Natasha. So let's jump into this first transaction that you've done. And this is the building that you've bought into. It's a single let. The building's name is Orland Court and it's in Glenwood. Tell me, how was the viewing when you first looked at this building?
First thing that I noticed was it was in a very good complex. It was in a very it was in a quiet location, and it was a well-run complex. However, when I walked into the apartment, there was a lot of work that needed to be done. So the kitchen was very old. The bathroom was also very old. There was a tub. There was no shower. The cupboards were rotten in the kitchen.
Mm.
The tiling was old. It was just in a very bad condition. The carpets were dirty. It
Yeah,
had
these
a stair.
carpets here look horrible. I
Yeah, it
know.
it was in very bad condition. And when I looked at it, I knew that there was going to be some work that needed to be done, but I saw potential in it.
Mm.
And um,
And it's a
obviously,
two bed, hey?
yeah, it's a bachelor.
It's a bachelor. And then
Yeah.
okay, so you went in, the building made sense, the area made sense, the property made sense. It needed a bit of cosmetic changes to it, but all in all, it felt good. It was obviously vacant occupation, that was the term.
Yes. Hmm.
And then did you go in with a builder or with a contractor to get an assessment of how much the renovations would cost to fix the unit?
Yes, so I got in actually a building engineer as well, just to make sure that the structural integrity was still intact. I got in also some architects as well that came, and I've got my quotations that I had to compare. And I think it's so important to have a good network. Sometimes you want to go for the most reasonably priced person, but it's also the quality that matters. So I had to review several quotations. I had to bring in several people, and then I narrowed it down to what I wanted. And that's how I went in and got that
Well,
deal.
you've got a very keen eye because I think what you did was very strategic in terms of the upgrade. So this is the obviously the before, this is what you went to go and view before you purchased, and this is what the after looks like. I mean, you did a fantastic job here, Natasha. You painted the whole unit, you retiled, you gave the bathroom a massive uplift by turning it from a bath to a shower, and that kitchen is lovely. So what kind of renovation costed, or how much did this cost you?
Okay, so after doing my scale analysis, I knew I needed to be very careful when it came to the numbers with renovation costs as well, so that the deal could make sense. I went in with the basic, but that made a big difference. So just by simply removing the carpets and tiling it, it transformed the whole living space. I even broke down the two small walls, which made the space much bigger. And the bathroom renovations obviously did cost a significant amount as well.
Mm.
Uh, Together, though, my renovation costs came to about 40,000 Rand. In my deal analysis, I did take that into consideration, and even after running the numbers, the deal did make sense. It did um, boost the deal significantly. I was able to get good tenants,
Mm.
and that paid the right amount of rental. And at the moment, I've had no issues.
That's really important. By renovating, creating a good living space, you're going to attract a higher quality tenant who will pay more reliably. So, as much as this unit in this condition is not horrible and you would have found a tenant, you probably would have found a tenant that is less reliable than the tenant who's willing and wanting to live in this kind of space. So that's a key part of being an investor, is seeing potential, putting money in with the belief that you're going to get the return out. So let's look at the numbers, because this isn't an emotional decision. You're not living in this property. This is a property that is being rented out for a return. And the first thing we're going to look at is the discount that you achieved. So they were asking for 20. You got 320 across the line. That's 100,000 Rand discount, or 24% of the asking price. Tell us, how did you do that?
Yes, I'm also shocked that I got such a high discount. I never even thought it was possible to get such a high discount on a property. I didn't even know the power of negotiation. So the tools that I use, the strategies that I used to get this discount, was I was made aware also through this journey of learning that buying property when the interest rate is high is actually beneficial to the buyer, which was something that I didn't know about. And it's something that a lot of people don't know. A lot of people think when the interest rate is low, that's the best time to buy. But as an investor, it's actually the opposite way around. So when I purchased this property, the interest rate was extremely high. It was at its peak. However, I attracted a seller that was wanting to let go of the property because the person that was living in the property had passed on, and the seller did not need the property. So I went in and I pitched in my offer, and it took a while. And the something that I also learned during this buying process is that you have to be patient,
Mm.
because sometimes things can happen along the way, and the seller can agree and approve. So I was patient, even though it took a while. I remember the agent as well was very resistant or doubtful of the acceptance of the offer. However, I put in my offer and I just waited and I was patient, and I knew that if it came through, then it was for me. So that's what I did. And at the end of the day, the seller approved, and I was the happiest ever.
So I picked up on four key things that you did there. Number one, you understood that we were in a buyer's market, meaning that the buyer had a little bit more power because of higher interest rates. Number two, you found a motivated seller, someone who had a property problem, a liability that wasn't really adding to them, and your timing was good. Number three, you pitched your offer. So many times people don't ever get the discount because they never ask for it. And then number four, you followed up, stayed patient, and waited for that motivation to reach the point where your offer was accepted. And now you get the fruits of your hard work. Well done. Okay, let's move over to the monthly cash flow, which is the main strategy that you're after with the single let strategy. So you're generating 5,900 in rental, and that's probably a premium price. But because you did those strategic renovations, you were able to up that. Your monthly expenses is 4,850. So you've got your bond, your rates and taxes. Your provisions, what are those for?
Provisions are for any maintenance related issues that I'll have to take care of. And yeah, those are basically it.
So you put some money aside every month into a separate kitty so that if their geyser bursts or if a tile needs to be replaced, you can just tap into that.
Yes.
Very nice. And then the levies, leaving you with a monthly passive income stream of 1,149 Rand, giving you a 9.5% ROI on the money that you put down. So your transfer fees and your renovations. So seeing that you've gotten to the end of this journey, and I remember that we had a few challenges. You went into the market, you tried, and you saw that it wasn't so easy to close a deal, and you got a bit demotivated, and then you got back on the horse. And now that you're at the end of the journey and you can see the fruits of your labor, how does it feel?
It feels really good. I never thought it was ever going to be possible. I never wanted to take that first step, but here I am, a few months later, a property owner, and generating positive cash flow, which is absolutely incredible. It was an exciting journey from the start to the end. Yes, there were some challenges along the way, but it was learning curves and opportunities for improvement, which I'm going to implement in my next deals. So it has been a really, really good process, and I'm looking forward to doing many, many more of these.
You're only 26. That's the craziest thing for me. Like, if you're just buying, let's say, two or three of these over the next 10 years, you'll have 30 properties that are all generating 1 to 2,000 Rand in cash flow. And in 10 years' time, when you're 36, it's very realistic that you're financially independent. Maybe not financially free because, that's quite a big number, but you're not going to have to work necessarily when you're 36. You'll work on the projects that you like and you'll invest time into your hobbies as opposed to working for that paycheck and being stuck in that rat race.
Yeah, it's definitely not impossible.
Natasha, you've inspired me and you undoubtedly will inspire a lot of people that watch this video. Are there some lessons that you can share with us to newbie investors on how they can also get into the game?
First lesson that I've learned was not to listen to everything that the agents tell you. It's important to remember that real estate agents, are driven by sales, and therefore not everything they tell you is going to be um, somewhat information that you need or require. So don't listen to everything that they tell you. And this brings me to my second point, which is trust the numbers. So make sure that whatever the agents tell you are backed up by evidence. If, for example, they say the levies are X amount, make sure that you get the levy statement. There has to be hardcore evidence to back up your numbers, because this is a property that you're going to buy. It's a big decision, it's a big commitment. And without the actual figures, your deal is not going to make sense. So
And yeah,
I
just
strongly
to just to add to that, I think sometimes agents are malicious and lie because they're trying to convince you to buy a bad deal. And I think sometimes agents are just lazy and they say, I think the levies are 500 because that's what the seller told me, and they haven't done their investigation. So sometimes we have to hold those agents accountable and say, give me the evidence, give me the statements and the proofs that back your claims. But with that also being said, some agents are really good. I think, sometimes you get a bit unlucky.
That's true. Okay, so that brings me to my third point. Be patient. Don't make a deal based on emotion. As I've also explained in the previous slide, when I put in my offer, I had to remain patient because um, sometimes the process just has to take course. And don't make a deal based on emotions, something that you may just like out of maybe how it looks, or some feature that it has, and the numbers don't make sense. So it's important to be patient, go through each of the deals carefully, and make your decision based on the figures.
That is really good advice. And probably the best advice I ever received from another mentor of mine was a no now could become a yes later. So a lot of times the deal process takes 6 or 12. The negotiation process can take 6 or 12 months because your seller hasn't reached that level of motivation where they're ready to accept your offer yet. And that's the same journey you went through, where you put your offer in, the seller was hesitant, the agent was hesitant, and a couple of weeks or months went by. They saw that they weren't making the sale, their motivation rised, and thus your timing on the deal was perfect.
So my final bit of advice is, and I can't stress this enough, invest in a coach. I know that if I didn't have Lawrence as my coach, I probably would have never taken my first step. I was very hesitant. I was very afraid. And after joining Lawrence's program and having a coach, it guided me through the process, and it helped me to understand concepts that I didn't understand, I was unaware of, and it increased my knowledge. And by increasing knowledge, I was more able to confidently go out there and handle deals on my own. So I think it's very important to have someone to guide you, and a coach is very important.
Thank you, Natasha. I can't stress enough that as much as I was there to give you advice and knowledge, you were the one that did the sit-ups, and now you've got the six-pack. You were the one that went out and did the work and got the results, and you are 100% accountable for the success that you've had. For those of you that do want to look at my coaching program and join, click the link below and you'll find out all the details. In my coaching program, I sit with you on a one-to-one basis over Zoom, and I hold your hand through your first or next property purchase. Until next time. Happy investing.